Consistency. This video will contain 0 motivational stories and 100% practical guide on how you can actually be consistent at doing positive things like exercising, studying, meditating, and also stop doing the negative things like doom scrolling mindlessly on social media for hours and hours and hours. Hi, I'm Laksana, just an average person trying to be consistent. Currently got a more than 185 days straight morning push-up streak, fully documented on my Instagram, and I also want to be the best at helping people build consistency, not by giving them motivation, but by giving them practical advices on how to be consistent. That's why I also rehearse consistently on my live stream. Hey, I want to say thank you. Thank you for actually caring about your life, because if you actually want to change your life to the better through implementing some positive things consistently, I actually really do appreciate that. So there won't be much editing applied to this video, but I hope you are going to be the serious ones that stick till the end of this video. And hey, this is May 18th, 2025, and this is gonna be day 314 of consistently helping people build consistency. So one of the best concepts in building consistency is to basically just create rules. Just like how society has rules to maintain order, we also need to be having some rules in order to have a consistent life. So here's the thing, why rules exist on the first place? It's because of expectation, okay? So for example, why there's a rule that we should not punch other people, and when we punch other people, we are going to, in some cases, going to get the punishment. So basically, the answer is simple. It's because people expect to be treated in a good way. People expect not to get physically harmed, right? Well, and if I ask like 100% about the same question, 100 people about the same question, I can pretty much be confident that they also will agree that, hey, you know what? I do not want to get randomly punched by other people on the street. Hey, you know what? And basically, because of that collective expectation not to get punched, a rule is being created, right? So basically, the rule exists in order to fulfill society expectation. Society expects something, there's a rule that's being made, okay, that hey, if you punch people, you are going to get some punishment. And then we can actually expect some consistency in this rule expectation dynamic. We can consistently expect not to see people in the streets randomly punching each other, okay? Because people are going to be thinking, hey, you know what? Yeah, even though I'm really angry at somebody, I don't really want to punch them because, hey, I'm going to get some punishment and I do not want to get the punishment. And you know what? I'm just, not going to punch them. So, just like how society got some expectation and got some rule in order to create some fulfillment in that expectation, we are also going to implement the same principle into our day-to-day life. I believe we all also have some expectation within our lives. So for example, I expect my life to be healthy. I expect my life to be happy. I expect my life to be, I want to be the best at my field. And I also believe lots of you guys also have the same expectation, have the same dreams. So basically, when it comes to creating a rule for ourselves, there are basically two kind of rules, the active rules and also the passive rules, okay? Both plays a crucial role in order to help us fulfill our life's expectation. So the active role is going to be a role that's going to make us do something actively in order to make us fulfill the expectation in our life. So I'm talking about doing something actively like exercising and studying and practicing art, practicing sport. Okay, those are going to be the active roles. And also the passive roles is going to be the roles are going to be the roles that we do, that we create in order to limit the negative things. Not necessarily negative, but if we just consume it in a really unhealthy manner, it can be unhealthy. It can make us go further away from our expectation. So for example, I'm talking about doom scrolling for hours and hours, and passive roles basically means that we either limit or completely stop consuming the doom scrolling. So again, active roles and also passive roles. The thing that we are going to be doing here is that we are going to be grabbing a pen and a paper and then basically write down the roles that we are going to be having. Here's the thing, when it comes to creating roles, we tend to just want to have so many roles in our life. This, this role, that role, so many roles, okay? But the thing that I really do recommend is if you are a beginner, okay, just like me, please just start with, I don't know, maybe like one passive role and one active role, or maybe two passive role and two active roles. Okay? So we are going to be writing things down just to make things extremely clear. Okay? So for example, the active role. First thing first, ask yourself, what type of life that you expect? So for example, you expect a healthy life. And ask yourself, what's going to be the best thing that if you just do it consistently, actively, it's going to make you closer and closer, get you closer and closer to your expectation of having a healthy life. So, for example, it's going to be exercising consistently. Okay? But we do not want to just create the rule that, oh yeah, I'm gonna exercise consistently every single day. No, why? Because that's really, really unclear. Okay? When we just create the rule that, oh yeah, I'm gonna exercise every single day, our brains tends to get sneaky some of the time and gets lazy. Okay? So for example, some of the days when we are lazy, oh you know what? Exercise every single day, right? You know what? Today I'm just gonna be doing like 10 seconds of stretching and call it a day. Not saying, okay, so here's the thing, that's the problem. I'm not saying that 10 seconds of stretching is bad. No, it's not. It becomes a problem, okay? It becomes a problem when we just set something way too small, okay? Way too small. We do not feel any progress at all. We do not feel like we are making any change at all, okay? Just start something small, not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily needs to be something big, maybe something in the middle, okay? Do not make it really unrealistic. Just maybe like start with, for example, 5 minutes of running every single day, maybe some rest days on weekends. So the rule is really clear. 5 minutes of running every single days except on weekends. Okay? So why this is really, really important to have a really clear rule like this? It is precisely we can know how much exercising is enough exercising. We said that we are going to be doing 5 minutes of running. We actually did the 5 minutes of running. We can actually say, how you know what? I said the thing that I did the thing that I said that I'm gonna be doing. Okay? And this basically will bring us some sense of accomplishment. Okay, just like how in video games there's this side, quest log. When we just finish the quest log, we kind of have this, notification saying, "Wow, you're so great, so cool." The same thing happens in real life. We kind of have, our brain is gonna, most of the time it's going to give us the rewards that, hey, you know what? Yeah, you've actually fulfilled your goal. Here's some, good feeling for you. And also, this basically builds the confidence of in us because we got the evidence that hey, we can actually do it. Okay, we can actually do it. That's the example of an active rule. So when it comes to the second type of role, the passive role, it's gonna be asking ourselves, what is the thing that if we just stop doing, is gonna help us so much in order to fulfill the life that we expect. Okay, so for example, we expect a life full of adventure. We expect a life full of growth. Okay, what's going to be the biggest obstacle right here, right now? That if we just stop doing it, if we just eliminate it, we are going to get closer to our expected life. So, for example, the answer is doom scrolling for hours and hours mindlessly. Because, hey, just imagine how much time and energy you can spend on other things if you just stop exercise. If you just stop doom scrolling for hours and hours. And here's the thing again, I would really not recommend you to just, if you are currently doom scrolling for hours and hours every single day, I really do not recommend you to completely stop, create the rule of, oh yeah, stop doom scrolling once and for all. Because, hey, you might actually stick to that kind of rule on the first day, but it's not going to be something that's realistic to create, some kind of like sudden change like that, I actually do really recommend you guys to just limit your doom scrolling first, maybe like 30 minutes every single day on a particular time of the day. Basically, that's going to be the example of a passive rule. So that's how you basically be consistent at doing something. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Would really appreciate that. And also join our Discord. You can also support my long form videos by buying me a coffee on Gumroad. Would really be meaningful for me. And yeah, for today's date, authenticity post, today's May 18th, 2025. Mimzar posted a That's a great question. That's a great question. Post last 24 hours, GMT +7, but this video might be uploaded like 1 or 2 days from now because I do not have an editor.